Sometimes it's harder to predict what the overall efficacy of a lower budget horror film will be, and there's plenty of these, but we can't always guarantee the audience response nor the overall quality, right? We have to wait for the theatrical release or the DVD release, our first time watching it, in order to best judge that ourselves. And with Smile, there was certainly a good prelude in what was offered in coverage. I covered the first trailer a while ago. I meant to be a little more on top of things because this final trailer's been out for at least a month, and I'm still in a catch-up phase for pretty much all my content, but I figured better late than never to give Smile a second look because it really impressed me on a first glance. I'm a big psychological thriller fan, so that obviously appealed to me, and the horror undertones, while I have my convictions within the horror genre, what I like to see versus what I don't in content tastes, the atmosphere to a horror film, a very scary entry no less, I was pretty entertained by the trailer. And it seems that audiences were as well, with a Paramount horror film, no less, because that's what this is. And so far, at least in my book, not having seen Smile yet, but just judging by the audience response, they've had two successes. The other one I'm considering being Orphan First Kill. I know that response was mixed, but I absolutely loved that movie. Highest recommendation I can give it if you want to see a good horror film, especially one that is a good complement to its original predecessor from 2009. Really good film. Very deep, but excellent execution in many regards. A very faithful sequel and a great sequel in its own strides, really. Smile, again, like I said, is a Paramount movie, and they should be proud of themselves as they try to figure out, what brands best serve them. Because, we've seen certainly plenty of stories like that. Some of their bigger franchises may not be delivering, whereas others are. Or developing franchises have had promising results. Like Smile, on a lower budget, $17 million baseline, it is now, as of late November, made about over 12 times its budget. That's pretty impressive. Again, good regard for the film overall. It seems to have done very well with audiences and critics. I've heard very complimentary remarks from some of the reviews I listened to. I forget some of them specifically, but I've certainly heard mention of Parker Finn. This is his directorial debut, and I've heard his name being brought about a lot. This is also based on a 2020 short film, very similar to it was a short story, I think that was the basis. And maybe it was a short film. No, I think it was a short film, actually. Focus Features debuted a film a little while ago, about a year or so. I covered the movie and watched it at this point. It's an excellent thriller if you've never seen Come Play. Beautiful, beautiful film. It reminds me a lot of this, right? Maybe not in the film's nature, but in its overall construction. But this really impressed me on a first glance. Rob Morgan's also in this as well, and I'm a big fan of his character on Stranger Things. He's an excellent actor. There was a lot to praise of it, and it seems it's jived very well with audience reception. And it so far had a pretty accessible release, given that, and I've been waiting, I figured on rushing this so I could watch it, because I'm right now currently subscribed on Paramount Plus, but I haven't been watching anything for a while, so I'm I need to go around the service and find out what I haven't covered yet, and that's really what I've been waiting for, is the opportunity to take a look, a first impression, and offer that with you before I engage with certain work. And Smile is now, I believe, on the platform. I think it still is at the very least. I believe it's still up. It was released on Paramount Plus, so wide accessibility for those of us who didn't make it to the theaters. I would have liked to, I just didn't have the opportunity. I am very grateful, though, to see that it succeeded, because I could certainly see it developing that way on the first trailer. Maybe you're somebody who's heard chatter about Smile, but you haven't taken a deeper look at it yet. Again, the first trailer was fun, but I'll pull up the final trailer as well. It's a short one, but I think maybe it'll speak to the film's strengths. But I've been very impressed by the response. For a lower budget horror film, this is certainly delivered, and from, a startup no less. Smile isn't really an established brand, but people have seemed to really flock to it.
My name is Dr. Rose Cotter.
What do you want from me?
Why is it that everybody else who's seen it is dead and you're alive? I've seen it too.
You have it?
Psychological stuff always brings me in. And it does have a bit of a familiar feel to other films as well, but this provides, I think, a good entry to get absorbed in it just immediately off the bat.
Friendly smile.
Like the paranormal presence, the paranoid response on behalf of Rob Morgan's character.
I am not gonna keep running. I have to face it.
This shot again. That was really gnarly the first time.
Special previews Thursday at 7 p.m. Get tickets now.
I consider you lucky if you were able to go see it in theaters. I mean, you were obviously one of the statistics enveloped in that 214 million box office turn. That's really impressive. Again, there's been so many films at this point. People rave about the horror genre because it does deliver on very small budgets quite often, especially for establishing brands. I don't know if there's going to be a continuation for Smile as much, but at the very least, this one-off, if it is that, has given Paramount something to boast about. And they have a lot of strength, I would say, within their horror brands. Again, like I said, Orphan, the Scream movies, I've seen all 5 at this point, so I'm prepared for when Scream 6 starts rolling out. But Smile really impressed me. I mean, again, it's a great teaser. I'm always game for psychological stuff, and there are certain cues here when you watch the trailer, be like, okay, this is familiar to other types of horror, thriller fare. I get the paranoid presence elements. The smiles themselves appear a little more natural and unnerving than they did in Truth or Dare, which was not well regarded by any means from what I remember. Maybe it has some fans, I don't know, but it's mostly been a negative response from what I've heard. But the smiles themselves kind of appeared a bit comical, they were more animated. This comes off as more of an unnerving performance from every single character, and it works quite well, I think. It'll be an interesting watch. I mean, I can't wait to really, dive into it on Paramount Plus. Maybe I'll be able to do a review on it eventually as well. I mean, I still have to do that for Orphan. I debated that a while ago. I'm still working on a formula, but it's on my mind. Again, Orphan First Kill, if you haven't seen it, very strong debut as well in the horror department from Paramount Pictures. Smile seems to be too. I mean, at the very least, it's got a good audience reception and critical reception, so I'm happy to dive into it and try it out for myself, because I would believe it based on what I've seen in the trailers. It looks like a very competent, smaller, establishing horror movie. But I love the basis to it. Again, adapting it from a short film, in this case, I believe this is very similar, at least not an idea, but in the way that Come Play developed. I really like that construction to the film's development as well there. It's cool to see it replicated and to see it done well. Or received very well, in fact. What are your guys' thoughts, though, with Smile? Maybe this was the first impression for you. If so, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And for those of you who saw the movie, what was your opinion on it? No spoilers, please. I mean, for now, I want to kind of go into it as uninformed as possible. So if you can help from disclosing anything, necessitating a certain reveal in the film's plot, so I can go in blind, other than what I've seen in the trailers, I would appreciate that. But let me know your take down below as well. It's impressive. I mean, again, I love to see fare succeed, especially stuff that is more original in nature and smaller in scope, and the horror department has many of these types of movies that have done well. I mean, as I said, it's sometimes a bit of an iffy landscape. Some films don't necessarily track that well, and they may be on lower budgets too, but there's been plenty of horror films that have done very well in this space on smaller resource totals, and when it comes to Smile, I would say it's been a success all around. From what I can see, so it certainly makes me more geared to watch it on Paramount Plus. Can't wait to really try it out for myself. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.